Everyone. Very good morning. It is, what is it today? Is it Wednesday? It's Tuesday. Dan's in the house. So I had a interesting little morning, made several phone calls because of this kid here. Looks pretty young, has a very distinct mole on his face, right? Wearing a DoorDash cap here. And, when you have multiple videos where you get a threat such as this, I hope someone sees you on the streets, not in the streets. I hope someone sees you on the streets and beats the shit out of you. You need to vote yes. So if you're so passionate about yes, that you are calling, inciting violence, right? Calling upon others to beat a driver up on the street. Firstly, why don't you make the threat directly, right? Why don't you make the threat? Why are you calling upon others, right? That's the first sign I'm dealing with a coward who's not willing to take on that energy, right? So this guy, apparently his name is John Lee, right? He also goes under Critical Truth. He has a lot of pseudonyms, blocked by Uber in many channels because of the violence that he stokes, right? In his Critical Truth channel, I'm going to leave the link so you can actually check this guy out. He's got a lot of sort of like karaoke videos that he's making, a lot of strange videos talking about sex dolls, blah, blah, blah. But I'll let you be the judge, right? But here, it's interesting. When you read in the About section, it says, the Asian American troll who lives under your nearest bridge. Now, don't give great Asian people a bad name, right? And this is an isolated incident. I know who I'm dealing with. I know, in fact, where you are. You're in Irvine. We've already established everything on you, right? But the one thing I want this guy to understand is that, seriously, you need to think things through in life, right? You really need to take a step back and say, is it worth it to call upon violence? Is it worth it to make a threat as a youngster, right? Can I handle the repercussions, right? I, as a kid, this is a young guy. Can I handle the repercussions? I want this kid to understand that I've been through the school of hard knocks. I've seen it all, right? So what I have coming here, I've dealt with before, right? I just question why he doesn't have the courage to make the threat himself. He calls upon others to commit violence, right? And this, dear Uber and DoorDash, obviously, you have a legal letter with your name, with your photographs, all on its way to DoorDash and Uber. I hope you keep your job. I really do, right? But I, for one, I'm going to make it clear to anyone, I do not tolerate threats. Now imagine my son comes across this channel. My son is always in my channel. He reads my comments and he sees a message such as this. I hope someone sees you on the streets and beats the shit out of you. What would a kid, a 13-year-old kid think, right? They would be traumatized by that. They would worry. They would not be able to sleep at night, right? If a little kid would actually read that line, they would get very, very worried over their dad or their mommy, right? That's just how kids are. But I understand who I'm dealing with. I've done my homework on this guy, and I'm not going to make any counter threats. I'm just going to turn your life upside down, kid. And that is, I hope you keep your job, right? I hope that Uber and DoorDash apologize for these type of actions, because this is not what yes or no on proposition is all about, right? Yes or no on proposition. Let me just tell you that I, for one, I will let any type of comment. I want to read you the comments in my threads, right? The person here says, yes on 22, hustle over being an employee. And I respect that, right? I respect the yes and I respect the no, because the person is going in with their idea of what Proposition 22 is supposed to be about. The next one says no on 22, no, no, no. The next one says voting yes on Prop 22, support your gig job and your freedom. The next person says no on 22, stand with drivers. So you have a combination here of yes and no's, right? And I allow that in my channel. I'm not going to muzzle anyone in my channel. I respect what you stand for. But the moment you call for violence, like this kid, we start an entire new game, right? Because I enjoy the healthy dialogue with people that say yes on 22 or no on 22, right? But the moment people start showing their ugly face, the moment people start inciting violence, William Connor, I appreciate you, right? That is when this takes on a completely new game. And I want this kid to understand that you put this out there. There it is. I quote you directly there. I hope someone sees you in the streets and beats the shit out of you. Firstly, I did not get into this game if I feared these type of sentences, right? So whoever confronts me in the street, they're more than welcome to try, right? It's up to them. If they want to follow this guy and try that, I say good luck. Good luck if you come up to me and you're going to try and incite violence because you're listening to some little child. So I want this kid here, and I'm not going to give him more energy. Apparently his name is John Lee, right? Apparently he also goes under, that's his one channel, and he's already been banned on YouTube because of stoking violence, right? And this is his other channel. And, you know, I'll put the link there. You can go over his videos. They're rather interesting, right? That's all I have to say. There's a whole variety of interesting videos, and he calls himself Critical Truth. If you want to play in the realm of critical truth, I suggest you stick to your argument on yes on 22 and argue it. Argue the truths, what you believe the truths are on 22. And if I'm arguing no, I bring my facts and we have a good debate. But, buddy, I have really bad news for you because you've stepped over the line. And in my YouTube, and I have several channels, I have 12 channels, I've dealt with about 5 of these characters. I deal with them in my own specific, special, unique way. So be warned, right? You're not going to like the outcome of this, right? And that's not a threat because I don't go out and threaten violence, right? I don't have to. I have a family. I got to take care of a family, so I don't have to threaten violence. But I can pay money and get things moving, right? And get letters and make your life living hell, believe me. If you think that you're going to go and stir it up and make these threats that my kids could have potentially read, I have news for you. So let's leave it at that. I will jump into the channel here and read some of the messages. And again, you know, this all comes about when you start arguing your points, right? And I want to see more of this. I really do. I want to see people argue the pros and cons on Proposition 22. And DoorDash, right? I've spoken, I was at Grubhub or DoorDash, I've spoken to the CEO. You owe me an apology, right? Because if that's who you employ, if that's who you have DoorDashing for you, or Dara, that's who you have Ubering for you, shame on you. You're not doing your work right? Means you are part of inciting violence. Let's just leave it at that. So I will follow up with a press release on this, right? And put it out there that people have to resort to these dirty tactics and call upon others to beat a driver up on the street. Firstly, I will go out there with zero fear. I will drive on the streets with zero fear. I will put my head on the pillow, as I always do, without zero fear. I didn't start this channel or become a voice for drivers if I had any doubts about characters like that, right? I factor them in and I deal with them accordingly, right? So David says, where I'm from, kids face threats 1,000 times worse than that on a daily basis. They become desensitized to it. Sure, no, I hear you. The kid was just trolling. I understand, but you know, you can come out and say, hey, you know what, I'm trolling you, right? Or you can come out and and choose those type of words. Understand that an adult might know how to deal with those type of words. Understand that a kid or a child of an adult will interpret those words differently. So, you know, they don't see that as trolling. I can tell you right now, they don't see that as trolling. Dan, how are you? Leadership is from the top down. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Wick Hustle Guy, I hope someone finds you in the street and hugs you. Oh, you're too kind. Listen, we're in this together. And I want people to be true independent contractors. I want to see more of what we're seeing now with this multiplier and to a certain extent being able to set your own rates. It's good. People are making money. I want to see my brothers and sisters in New Mexico and Vegas make the same money. Why should some drivers right up to November until the vote just be making some money because Uber is trying to comply with AB5 and they allow you to set your rates? This should be for everyone. This is what we are pushing for. I want people to be true independent contractors, right? Where they go out, choose their trips, they go out, set their rates. If they know it's a Friday or a Saturday night, they know they can demand more. If they're sitting in the parking lot of a concert and they know there's 60,000 people coming out of that Dodger Stadium any moment, they can up their rates because the people will pay, right? The market needs to dictate the rates, not the gig companies. What the gig companies are doing, it's called the classic race to the bottom. They have the billions of dollars to subsidize, discount, sell Uber passes for $20, discount 15%, 25%, and drive the price down, right? A true independent contractor creates market rates. So that is what I'm for. That is what I'm fighting for, right? Because under this calculation here, ladies and gentlemen, the numbers that they have sent us for 500 miles, right? Driving 500 miles, not even factoring in the dead miles, not factoring in all the minutes, the hours to get to those individual, all the miles driven to get to that rider. Just the 500 miles, that's what they want to pay for. And it's dismal. It's shocking. It's $462. Their own words, their own numbers, right? I'm not making this up. This comes directly from Uber. This is not money. This is not what we are working for. What we are working for is a little bit more like it looks today in California, where people, and I know many people are sending me their screenshots and are proud of some of their weekly earnings. This is what, but that all evaporates. That goes away in November. And we need to understand that when we vote, right? And again, I welcome every person's argument, right? If you truly think you are an independent contractor, you're completely independent right now, then I cannot change your mind and I will not change your mind. But we are not independent yet. We are semi-independent for a very short time, and that is gone in November. Garcia Bui is in the house. Jason Ferris is in the house. Scott Tucker is in the house. Noah Amrani is in the house. Ian Mash from Kenya is in the house. How is everyone? I got my coffee here. And please circulate the video. Please share it on social media. I've already made the phone calls and spoken to the right people, right? So I will let that take its course wherever it goes. All I say to this kid, good luck in life trying to make those type of threats. Good luck, right? And if you call yourself critical truth, argue the truth. You don't have to make threats, right? If your channel is called Critical Truth, I say to you, argue the truth and the facts. Don't put violence, or don't incite violence, or put threats out there where you are calling upon others. You are not even willing to do the duty. You're not even willing to stand behind your threat. You are calling upon others. That is the classic term of a coward, right? And I'm saying this directly to you. So we will see where the chips fall over this one. Anyway, Wicked Hustle Guy says 100% gone in November, and I'm making more than I have. Yeah, good. And I'm happy you're making more than you have been making in 2019. I'm pretty sure you're making more right now, Wicked Hustle Guy, than you're making in 2019. But my worry is in November. Look, this is a temporary legal argument against AB5. Look, we are complying. Look, they are independent contractors. At this day in time, today, you are more independent than you have ever been, right? Because AB5 is forcing them to comply and step it up. Come November, that is gone. We go back here. We go back here with Uber's numbers. Pick up and trip miles only, 30 cents per mile. That is not money. That is not money. So make hay while the sun shines. Right now, make money. Have I talked about Shipt a few times way in the past? But GR, if you want me to make a video, I'll gladly do some more research on Shipt. What does help is if you are working for Shipt, if you could show me what type of money you are making with Shipt, with the app. Send me screenshots. Hola, señor, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, gracias. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well. Medat Shinuda, what if Prop.22 passes? Is anything else we can do to stop 22? Look, all you can do is get onto social media, whether you yes on 22 or whether you no on 22, and do your bit and make your arguments and try and connect with as many California citizens who are going to be at the polls in November. That's all I can say. What some gentleman this morning said, hey, we should all chip in and put billboards up. Well, billboards are expensive, $20,000 upwards for the month. And firstly, if you want to run billboards, you're going to have to run them in San Diego, LA. Look, if there's a donor that steps up and puts $500,000 in billboard advertising for no or yes, well, it's going to be no, because no person is going to, in their right mind, is going to go and spend $500,000 on yes on Prop 22 unless they Uber and Lyft, who have already spent $110 million and are spending a further $70 to $80 million, bringing it closely to the $200 million mark. So they're spending $200 million to try and convince California citizens to vote yes. That to me sounds desperate. So if you've already spent $110 million, ask yourself, why are you spending another 70? Because whatever you're doing right now is not working. So you got to spend more, right? And it is my feeling that across the board, once the people have been educated in the next 60 days, specifically the citizens, not necessarily always the riders and the drivers, but the majority of those 30 million plus Californians that go out to vote, once they have been educated, you will see, I think, that yes on 22 will only get 30 to 35% of the vote, right? And the big ads are only going to start running in the last 2 weeks. People are not going to blow their money right now. So the counter, the no to 22 and the yes to 22, watch those last 2 weeks. That's when all of the money gets spent in politics, right? Scott Tucker says it's cheaper to run Facebook and Google ads that do billboards. This route hits more this way. Exactly. So you can, like Scott Tucker says, you could start a Facebook campaign. You can start a Google AdWords campaign, right? And you could maybe, like, let's say if you feel passionately about this and you want to say, okay, I'm going to spend $20, right, with Facebook per month, per day. let's say you want to spend $500-600 to argue yes or no. You can do that. You can do that on Facebook and Google. That's the beautiful thing about social media. So the free social media, you going out, right, and creating your free accounts on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, that's all free. And then you can tweet for free, you can post for free, you can make videos for free. But beyond that, if you want to spend money as a company or as an individual, you can run ads on the YouTube network. You can run ads on the Facebook network, right? They do this heavily in the political world, right? For the run up to the November elections 2020. They spend a lot of money. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those type of ads. You can be in the mix with a yes or no on 22. It's all depends on what you are willing, or if you're even willing to open up the wallet and get your credit card out and start that campaign on Facebook or Google. They'll take your money all day long, right? They love advertisers. So the numbers that people are doing at the moment are extremely impressive. Here in California, somebody just sent me their weekly earnings, $3,500. That is money, right? If you project that onto 4 weeks, I mean, that's literally what? 4 times 3.5, that's $14,000. That's good money, right? Even if you deduct all your costs and your gas and the wear and tear and maintenance off the $14,000, that is money. How did that individual get there? Well, firstly, that individual was willing to work on a Friday shift, 11 p.m. right through till 3 a.m. and set very high rates, knowing that the people, many of them obviously gone out, maybe at a restaurant, a little bit intoxicated. They need to get home. They are tired. They will pay 3.5x, right? So they are accustomed to super low rates with Uber and Lyft that they've been paying so far. So upping the game a little bit doesn't really hurt them. Those are not massive. That's just market-related pricing. So far, they've been spoiled for 10 years because Uber and Lyft have kept the rates rock bottom, right? A Wicked Hustle Guy says, I made 1,000 over the weekend for less than 30 hours. You see, now if you do the math on that, that's $33 an average per hour. And the reason, and that's just my argument, right? The reason why you got to those numbers is because Uber is trying to show AB5, hey, look, we are compliant, we are independent contractors. Right now, in this day and time, you are more independent than you have been in the last 10 years. Why? Because you have a thing that says you can set your surges, your multipliers, your rates, you can decline, etc. You're more independent right now because of AB5 than ever before, and you're making money. So it should be our goal to push everyone, and I'm not just talking California drivers, I'm talking all drivers worldwide, under Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, whoever they are, towards true independent contractor status. Allow these individuals in New York, in Miami, in Denver, in Albuquerque to set their own rates. Let them dictate the market, not let Uber and Lyft dictate the rates and push it right down to the bottom by offering discount cards, Uber passes, subsidizing, right? That is not the right formula. That is really a destructive formula in economics. Let the market dictate. If you have 3 pizzerias on one street corner, you better have the best quality pizza at the right price. And if these 2 guys don't, they go under, right? But because it's competitive, these 3 pizzerias bring out the best, or 4 or 5 pizzerias in one mall. They bring out the best in each other. And only the weak die. They don't survive, right? Only the strong stay around. But with players like Uber and Lyft who are dictating the rideshare market. Very easy. They have those billions of dollars and they will drive any competitor out of the market, and they will let you do the work for pennies on the dollar, right? We know what we were earning in 2019. And I'm telling you, in 2019, the people went to the streets. There were more protests and strikes in 2019 than any of the previous 10 years. If you go back 4, 5, 6 years ago, you were getting 75% of the fare. There was no reason for you to complain. You were making good money, right? You were making good money 5, 6 years ago. Today, it's really, really difficult. Rideshare Lisa says, I'm just wondering if Prop.22 is passed, what is the guarantee that you will be able to still change your rates? What if Prop.22 is passed? Will Uber go back to the old? Look, no doubt in my mind, Uber, let's say long shot, they get Prop.22 passed, they will go back to the same old. We've seen it time and time again, and we should have learned from the past, right, how they operate. That multiplier is adios, muchachos. Goodbye, my friends, right? That multiplier was only brought in to bring in a legal argument against AB5 to say, hey, look, our drivers are independent contractors. And yes, that IC status is stronger than it has ever been before, but we can do so much more, right? There's so much more than we can do. We just have to be willing to put relentless pressure on these companies. If you cave now, you give in, right? And you do not, I got to say this again, you do not have to resort to these tactics, right? Like this guy. You don't have to do this. You don't have to go out there and say, you need to vote yes. I hope someone sees you on the streets and beats the shit out of you. You don't have to engage in that language, right? You can come forward, make your arguments on social media, right? Why you are voting for yes or why you are voting for no. The moment you open up this can of worms, do you honestly think this guy is going to have a DoorDash job in the next 2 or 3 weeks? No, he's going to get deactivated. Do you honestly think that the same guy here, and is extremely young from what I can see, he's very, very young. He's in his 20s, right? Do you think this character is going to have a job with Uber after they receive legal letters? Because I don't tolerate that, right? So you have a choice, right? You can engage on social media, make your arguments, keep it real without inciting violence. Dan says, can't stay. Okay, good. Got to go out and make money. I totally understand that. Thanks. Keep on helping us make wise, educated choices. And all you are hearing from me is based on research, based on numbers, based on experience. I can only come out there and give my opinion and my version, right? And specifically pushing people towards true independent contractorship, meaning you have your own LLC, you have your own limo company, you have your own TCN or TCP license. That is pretty much when you're dictating your world. You're independent. You now start recruiting your private clients. You set your own rates. To me, that is the highest form and level of independence you will reach. And my formula of pushing drivers, they're helping them go from X to XL to SUV. I mean, it's just a formula, right? It's not my uniquely thought up formula. It's just that I've done it. I've tried the X, I've tried out the XL, I've tried the SUV, the Black, the Lux, and then say, okay, what is the next step up from there? That is true independent contractor status. That is opening up your own company, your own limo company, and being your own boss, right? And if you want to go out there and lease cars, cool, as long as those individuals are willing to pay your weekly lease rental fees, that's fine. Let them then go out and make as much money as they possibly can on Uber, on Lyft, with their own private clients, etc., etc. That to me is the highest level of independent contractor status. But what Uber and Lyft are trying to sell me or trying to convince me on, saying, hey, under us, you are a true independent contractor. I can just tell you from my experience, from what I've just told you, from what Uber is telling me, is that they are worlds apart. That on the Uber side, to use this term independent contractor so loosely, right, that they are not fully complying with independent contractor status. However, I'll add to that right now in this last 60, 90 days, when you have the ability for the first time to set your rates, when you have the ability to pick and choose your clients, that to me sounds more independent than ever before. Because in 2019, I certainly didn't see any of those luxuries. In 2019 and 2020, I certainly didn't see any of those conditions and luxuries in the other 49 states. The reason why Uber implemented this in California is because they have AB5 in front of them. That is forcing them, either you show us that they are true independent contractors, or you make the shift to an employee model, right? So I say to Uber and Lyft, I challenge you, right? Step it up. You have your engineers. You can truly make us independent contractors if you want to, right? Uber has the ability to make us independent contractors if they want to, right? So let's push them there. And the only way you put the pressure and push them towards that point is to show them that they are not in control in November. Thank you. Just shared your live to 2,500 the Mid-America rideshare drivers here. Beautiful. Let's get it out. Jason Ferris, please flush Dara. I love it when Jason asks me that, because you know why? Firstly, the guy has manners. He asks, will you please flush Dara? And absolutely. So you come out and request that, and I will. And I'll tell you why I'm going to flush Dara today. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to flush the CEO of DoorDash. Because your people are misusing this proposition and starting to make threats. You better reel them in or get them off your platform, right? I have no problem if Dara or Logan Green or the CEO of DoorDash says to their drivers, hey, go out there, use social media, make your arguments. Here's some of the talking points, right? That's cool. But don't go out there and incite violence on the streets, right? And for that, because you don't control that and reel those type of characters or those trolls or those people who are inciting violence in, I have to give you the royal flush. So, Jason Ferris, this one is for Dara. This is symbolic of John and Logan Green. This is symbolic of the CEO of DoorDash. And I had to take it back out of the water, so it's really wet right now. There it goes. One for the CEO of DoorDash for not controlling your goons. And when I say goons, I say trolls, the people that are bringing out the worst in Yes on 22. That one's for Dara. And then we have a little twin combo, John Zimmer and Logan Green. Adios. Gone. We have to have some fun. We got to bring some humor into these type of times, right? You got to have some fun. You got to bring in some humor when you deal with this like early in the morning. And I'm very happy that my kids did not have to read that, right? Because kids react differently to these type of threats, right? They get a little bit traumatized. They worry about their parents. Jay Redhammer, absolutely, my friend. The Lyft CEO just got flushed because they got to clean up the house right? They got to put out statements that, hey, listen, this is not right, right? Just go out there and argue your points. Dan, love you. Appreciate you, buddy. God bless you too. Drive safe out there, Dan. And your story is amazing. I dropped your story in the Our House Mondays yesterday, but I still want to do a one-on-one story. It is absolutely amazing. And I'm just beyond after reading that article, and just someone was taking care of you on that day. Someone with a higher power was looking after you and allowed you to walk out there alive. Because to have 3 guns with a female pointing a gun at his face or trying to steal his electric car, it's not a cool situation to be in. And the way he handled it was epic. And the way he appealed to the people afterwards, that he forgave them for what they did, just said, turn yourself in, comply with the law, right? Just as this guy should, comply with the law, turn yourself in, or at least say, come forward and say, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, I messed up, I screwed up, right? Because, kiddo, it'll cost you your DoorDash and your Uber license, right? Once this video goes viral, it'll cost you. So don't make dumb, stupid mistakes like that, right? Got to learn from these things and improve your game. Tony Slaughter. Miss Lizzie G just got in. What did I miss? Well, you can go through the video. We're having a little bit of fun. We're doing a little bit of flashing here. We're trying to create an even playing field. And for me, when I say an even playing field, it's more like this. I mean, you got to go through all the arguments, right? And that's the cool thing. You know, you go in and say, this person, okay, says, let me just read them out. Yes on 22. Hustle over being an employee. Next one says no on 22. No. Next one says voting yes on Prop 22. That's how he's voting. That's good for, his name is Pure Vian. I'm happy for him because he says support your gig job and freedom to work anytime. Don't let this be like the communist bill like AB5. Okay, that is his opinion. He thinks that the AB5 bill is a communist bill. It's his opinion. So you allow him to write. The next person who I have a lot of admiration for, Rideshare Genius, no on 22. Stand with drivers. Then the next person, Chris Temple, I will be voting yes. That is a statement, right? That is taking a stand. I will be voting yes. Fantastic, right? People want to be gig workers when they sign up with the companies. Most do not want to be regular employees, right? And the fear is that what I think Uber and Lyft are doing very successfully is they say, look, you have a choice here. You either become an employee and you get shifts, and that doesn't work for us. And people just say, well, that doesn't work for me. But no, that is not the truth. AB5 really is pushing for true independent contractor status, right? Or if they were willing to meet Uber and Lyft, I am pretty sure those sides could hash out a hybrid law, right? But this third way that Dara refers to, you're not making money. And I'm not going to go over that like a parrot because I've broken it down again and again and again in several videos. So the next person says, there will be no Uber or Lyft if Prop 22 doesn't get passed. Some money is always better. Okay, cool. So his argument is some money is always better. If you were willing to work for some money, okay. Right now, I think people are making some decent money in California because these people that are experimenting with the multiply and saying, look, I want to see if that rider is willing to pay my worth. Today, I'm going to try Friday afternoon after work, people are leaving work. I'm going to try 2X in Santa Monica, in West Hollywood. Guy takes it. Needs to get home. Time is money. He's a businessman. It's no money for him to pay 2X. But for the driver, it could mean the world between 1X and 2X. You've just doubled your money, right? So people have different, look, you know, you go out there, maybe do a degree study, end up becoming a doctor, a veterinary doctor, or a lawyer, or a pilot, or maybe you opt to be a people's person and be a driver. But when you're on that driver side, no judgment, No judgment against the people that go out and do 4 or 5 year degrees, right? I did it. It's a long, long haul, right? No judgment towards the people that want to go out and become gig workers and drivers. You do in your heart what makes you happy. If it makes you happy to drive people around, interact with people, that is fantastic. But all I'm asking is pay the driver what he or she is worth. And let's get everyone to that point. Let's not support the race to the bottom rates where discounts and subsidized fares, companies subsidizing fares, is what dictates the market. That's not what this is about. So the person says, bring back the mail sorting machines and mailboxes. I like that. Bring back the mail sorting machines and mailboxes. Completely off the topic, but hey, buddy, I'm with you. Bring them back. Derek then says yes on Prop.22. And that's the way it should be. Vegas 888. Isn't AB5 to be employee and state gets payroll tax? Is that what AB5 was designed for? AB5 made the argument that Uber was not treating the drivers as true independent contractors. And through AB5, they had that opportunity to really step up and make drivers independent contractors. Because if they had made drivers true independent contractors, AB5 would not stand a chance, right? And just to reiterate, I am not for an 8 to 5 job, right? I am not. That's just me personally, just as there are many, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of drivers that don't want to be put in that box of strict employeeship, right? But it's a misunderstanding. It's not like you are going to become an employee overnight, right, and work. No, under that AB5, you still have all the flexibilities, etc. There are just additional safety nets for health, you know, etc., built in. That you have a voice, that you can, that a union, for example, can lock in rates, and that they cannot constantly change that on you. One week you're earning $1 per mile, the next week you're earning 80 cents per mile, then you're earning 58 cents per mile. That doesn't give any driver certainty when you have committed to a car and you're just financing a car. You want to know that you can make those car payments. You want to know that you're going to bring some money home. You don't want those rates changed on you every 25 minutes. And come November, all I can say is those things that Uber put out there to comply with AB5, they're gone. Those beautiful multipliers and all of those things, when people are actually making money for the first time in California, they're gone. Uber ain't keeping the multiplier. Uber introduced the multiplier as illegal, and they made it very specific. Hey, look, we are independent contractors. You have the multiplier. You can set your own rates, and you can choose whomever you want to take on that trip or decline it, right? And yes, it was definitely a step in the right direction. And the engineers programmed the app to accommodate that legal argument against AB5. And even, you can quote me on this, right? Even no on 22. That is not the perfect model that they're putting out there, the no on 22. They can do way, way better, right? What I'm advocating for is when I really understand the dynamics, I look at, and it sounds pretty arrogant when I say that, but I'm looking at the dynamics of the state. And I say to the state, don't be greedy because your way is not the only way. And then I look at the gig companies and I can say, you cannot sell that same BS and package it up as BS and make us sign off on that BS. Now, when you take the best of both worlds, some of the factors that the state wants, some of the good things that Uber has in there, like the multiplier, like the right to decline or accept a trip, right, without retaliation, right? You should not be penalized whether you are a part-time worker or a full-time worker, depending on the amount of hours that you should not be getting timeouts and put in the corner, right, because you're not performing according to their algorithmic needs. If you understand the best of both worlds and you can merge the best of both worlds, what I discussed with Edward yesterday, and create this hybrid law with the best of the best on both sides, flexibility to choose whoever you want to drive for, whenever you want to drive for, better rates, setting your rates, declining, accepting, etc., etc. That is what we need to push for. So what California is putting forward on no on 22 is definitely not the best model. But what Uber and Lyft are offering on yes on 22 is definitely not independent contractor status. So we need to get these people there. And if drivers are not part of that decision-making process, then what is this all worth for, right? You cannot just have two parties dictate your fate. We have to be at the table, right? But we don't get invited to the table, and we got to push to have a place at the table. So when they are negotiating and talking, there have to be representatives from San Francisco, San Diego, LA, Orange County, Palm Springs, San Bernardino, Riverside, Yucaipa, Monterey, Carmel, San Luis Obispo, wherever you are, the Valley, the South Bay, have to be at the table in those negotiations. And when you pass that and when you come up with a good, functioning new model, then implement it worldwide through all the states and worldwide. It's not just a dream, we can achieve it. Briefly over here, I do want to give a shout out because it's part of my contract that I give a shout out to KOVA, my sponsor. You sign a specific contract if you're a YouTuber, and I only endorse products that I believe in. I'm not going to sign off because, okay, they're paying you some dollars, like, oh, you desperately need the dollars. No, I've said no to many sponsors, right? Many sponsors. So, and I encourage anyone who has a successful social media channel is really pick and choose only the products and only the services that you would take, that you would endorse. And this is one where I participate because it is a protection plan, right? And this is probably, to me, one of the most attractive parts, that if you are deactivated, even as a 4.8 or 5.0 driver, could happen. Once one false accusation from a rider, oh, he was driving all over the place between 3 lanes and he was texting, it can make the shit up, right? That you then have someone on your side saying, hey, hang on, this is not true, reinstate the person. Or if you get into an accident and you're in the hospital, obviously your medical insurance kicks in, maybe Blue Shield, but beyond that, if you are losing your income, because you're even in hospital for a week, they are covering 80% of it. Or if your car is in the shop, repairs, right? Because the guy smashed into the back of you and you cannot drive for a week or two, they kick in and cover 80%. It's a great, great protection plan. And I appreciate you guys listening to that. Monday Social, Uber added multiplier and started showing trip destination after AB5 passed. What other steps would Uber need to implement from AB5 for drivers to become true independent contractors? Excellent question. Excellent question. What other steps do you think they should put out there? Well, firstly, the company, if they want to have true independent contractor status, they set the fares, right? And it's my understanding that a true independent contractor sets his own rates. There's no given rate, a starting point that Uber and Lyft can dictate. You dictate them, right? If you decide, hey, from there to there, from A to B, you want $25 or $30, Uber and Lyft take their part of that $25. You've decided that's the rate. The person's willing to pay for it. Then they have accepted your independent rate, right? It is my understanding that the companies cannot dictate these mileage and time rates. I could be wrong, but because you put that question out there, I need to go back to the drawing board and make 100% sure that what I just said is right. but it is my understanding that you control those fares. Alfredo Rosales in the house. Let's hit that like button. Let's get it up to 30, please. 30. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. So my friend Anonymous Giraffe, great contributor, says, hey, buddy, not sure if you heard or were aware, but Uber has brought Uber Green to the United States. There it is, Uber Green. That's cool. And I need to research that because I have not seen that. So right now, the services that he has in his preferences, he obviously has an XL vehicle. Otherwise, and let's see what options he has on. He has Select on, he has Comfort on, he has Uber Green on, which means he obviously complies with their green requirements. Maybe it needs to be an electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle. So he's got that on, he's got that on, he's got that on, he's got the Uber X functionality on and the XL. So this sounds like, if I had to just look at this screen and say, what type of car is this? This looks more like a mid-size hybrid SUV or electric SUV that qualifies for XL. It will obviously then also qualify for X, but will also now qualify for the green. So my guess here, he has a Toyota or a Honda mid-sized electric SUV or hybrid, right? Because I don't think that the Toyota Sienna or the Nissan or the Honda Odyssey would quite qualify for Uber Green. So I'm very curious. I'm going to shoot back and say, what car is it you drive that qualified for green? Just curious. So Select was terminated in multiple markets. That's correct, Jimmy. I have heard Select come back in specific markets because they really need to get drivers back onto the road, right? Right now, I think Uber and Lyft would be grateful for any essential driver on the road. So I don't think Uber and Lyft would limit categories right now. They should actually, if they want to be smart about it, they should open up all categories, right? Get the drivers in, get them driving. To put restrictions and say, hey, you in that market cannot work on Select, you're just shooting yourself in the foot during pandemic times. It's not to me, it doesn't sound like a smart business decision if you are closing specific categories in markets right now during the pandemic when the companies need the money most, right? Rick Nelson says, Lisa, I saw your reply of your live broadcast a few nights ago. Ray the mailman says, no pool, leave it that way. I love it, exactly. I hope that pool doesn't come back. And the guy who is in charge of pool, I think it's Andrew McDonald or whatever his name was. I mean, very late in the game, even midway through the pandemic, they abolished pool, right? And still allowed many people to pool in pandemic times. So I hope the pool is gone forever. I really do. It makes no money and it makes no sense for drivers. The only people that really make good money on pool are Uber and Lyft, sharing the drive, because they're literally double dipping. Right? Shalisa says, hi, Rick. Got a cool little conversation going on there. Vegas 888, I want to go back and read his message. And Wicked Hustle Guy. So Vegas 888 says they have had some success with the 1 to 5x in rides. Could it be possible they leave that under a yes vote? From my sources, from the people that I've spoken to, and again, my opinion is that they would abolish that, right? Up there, oh, Thomas, thank you, brother. San Diego in the house. And thank you for your last few messages, Thomas. I appreciate it. Thomas, whoop, whoop. Smackdown 20. Thank you, brother. And great numbers once again by Thomas on the weekend. He always sends me his screenshots, so I get to see, hey, how is Thomas doing that week? How many hours is he driving? So sharing is caring. You rock, my brother. I appreciate you. So we had Anonymous Giraffe earlier on who shared this option. You know, Thomas, maybe they will decide that an Escalade with hybrid functionality or electric functionality gets the Uber green category, so we can switch that on as an extra, right? Maybe you and I have to incorporate electric batteries into our Escalades down the line. I'm not kidding about that. I'm thinking about that, really, you know, because I know the guy, Ruben, says, oh, that my mechanic said I can easily, once the batteries are out for the Escalade, I can put it in for you. I can build it in. So I wouldn't mind making that switch to a big electric battery, just like, you know, the Cybertruck would be run. The Cybertruck should be Uber green option, right? That'll be our next vehicle. Absolutely. We're going to work. Thomas and I are going to work towards that Escalade with a big, big electric battery, because apparently that car does like 500 miles on a charge. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Go out, they do 500 miles and not burning up any gas in your Escalade, and a 6.2 liter chews a lot of gas, right? For me to drive to LA and LAX and back, $20, $25. There and back, $20, $25 back. Bring it on. Bring it on. So Anonymous Giraffe answer says, any electric car now has this ride for as of today. If you update the app, I called Uber to find out what this was and what the rates were. And while they are looking it up, Google it, found out that they were doing this in Europe and now starting here in the United States. Well, that's great. See how on top of it drivers are? Sharing is caring, right? Sharing screenshots is caring. Bring it on. Exactly. So I was and again, I apologize if I have not read out every single person's message. I try to my best ability to incorporate everyone and give everyone a shout out. So when I see all the names in the feed, at least try and read out 2 or 3 of your comments, right? And if you have said something in this feed and I have not paid attention to it, please bring it to my attention so that I can also give you a shout out. Wicked Hustle Guy says, is it a hybrid as well or just electric? He just stated it was electric, but good question. Would the hybrid also qualify? Maybe we can get that answered. Maybe we can do some research online on Google and find out if the hybrid qualifies for that green status. Because guess what? There are many, many riders and passengers out there that are extremely green conscious, right? And they feel like, hey, they are contributing towards the environment by only taking electric cars. So there is that. Don't underestimate that crowd. There's a huge, huge part of your citizens, whether it's in the United States, Canada, or abroad, that are extremely green conscious. Every time I can make an environmental positive decision by taking an electric vehicle, I believe I am contributing. That's how they think, right? I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But good question is, what type of cars at the end of the day qualify, right, for that status? And when I say that status here, look, I mean, this individual here, Anonymous Giraffe, has 5 platforms on, right? So he might get that select booking. He might get that comfort booking. He might get that green booking from the people that want to protect the environment. He might get the booking from a large group that need an XL because they're 6 people. He might get that booking from the couple that wants to go out for a drink on the UberX. So he has all 5 options open saying, hey, Bring me whoever wants to take a specific category. I need the money. I'm putting myself out there. I'm ready to be your essential driver. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And Rick, if we can find that out, you know, does the green apply to hybrids? If someone can give me clarity on that, we should definitely make a video on that, right? Because I do see more and more electric cars coming out. I do see more and more people switching to electric cars, right? A lot of people are driving these little Tesla 3s as XLs. A lot of people are driving mid-size SUVs as XLs, electric SUVs, mid-size as XLs. So there is a big shift and movement towards these electric vehicles. And Uber apparently is ready for that. Well, they've been ready for that in Europe, that's for sure. But they're now also taking that huge step here in the United States. And that's something I can support all day long. Rick Nelson says, as always, Uber will gradually go green in certain markets such as the Northwest of the United States first. Abstract Echo. Okay, now I want to use this opportunity to give Abstract Echo Jimmy a huge thank you. A huge thank you. And I want to show you why. So, if you look at that, Abstract Echo Jimmy is an artist. He's made one of these acrylic art pieces for Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa, after he passed away. And when you add light and neon to that, it'll blow your mind. So he was so kind to make this as a wedding gift, and it incorporated the initials T. There it is, T for Torsten, and on the other side, L for Laura. How thoughtful is that? How sweet is that? How kind is that, right? That people operate on that high vibrational level. You are off the charts, my friends. Goosebumps, right? That is who Abstract Echo Jimmy is all about. Created that as a wedding gift for me. And however I can contribute, whatever I can do, I want to make a whole separate video on that and push it out there and direct people to his website, right? I'm sure on his website he's got all of his pieces. And he says, I was glad to do it, Professor. Just out of the kindness, out of the purity of his heart, you know you're dealing with the top 100%, right? The people that really, have integrity, morals, value, and understand friendships. I'm honored to have one of your pieces, and I will definitely show it to several of my clients, right? Hopefully you get a lot of other great orders. And just imagine we were in January and we were talking about Kobe Bryant's death. Jimmy gets into action, makes a piece for Vanessa. Personal piece. It's a beautiful piece. You could send me the link of that right now, Jimmy. You could text it to me and I would show it right now. The piece that you made for Vanessa Bryant, off the charts. The input, right? You're an artist, right? He's an artist. He deals with acrylics. I wouldn't even know where to start to create a piece like that, right? But it's his artistry. And then he creates something that encompasses, that brings meaning to Kobe Bryant in art and gives it to her as a gift. That's the type of quality individual you're dealing with. And he says, I was honored to create it for you and Laura. Laura loves it. We cannot wait to see it and put it into action. Now, I'm getting a lot of text messages. What? What? Wifey? For me and wifey? Thomas, you're the best. I'm going to take you out for dinner. Love you. Dude, what can I do to give back? Like I'm getting showered here. I'm getting showered. What can I do to reciprocate? Help me. Help me understand what I can do to reciprocate. Thank you, my brother. Cannot wait to see you again. Got to meet either in San Diego, in that, what's it, Gaslight District. Remember that cool pasta factory? That was fun. They were all huddled in the Dave, Paul, Thomas, all huddled in that corner. I think Paula was there as well. Either we go down there, meet there on a patio outdoor, obviously pandemic, or in Orange County, or in LA. Thank you, Thomas. Whoop, whoop. What type of weather are you guys experiencing? I don't know what it's like down in San Diego, Thomas, but it's super hot here. It's muggy. The skies are yellow. And guess what? It's like literally, and I wonder if this has reached you down in San Diego, but it's literally the ashes. My car is covered in these white little speckled ashes. So the ashes are falling out of the sky from the fires. Now the question is this from the fires up in the north that is being driven down by the winds? Because 0% is contained. They're still blazing full force. They're not even contained. It's going full force up in the north. And we're feeling the fallout. I look outside and it's like a yellowish sky. And I go outside and I look at my car on my Cadillac, all sprinkled with ash. Abstract Echo says, I sent the video via text. Okay, let me look right away. Okay, I want to show and maybe you can give us some explanation. Jimmy, what inspired you when you made that piece for Kobe Bryant? What thought went into it? Like when you have a white piece of canvas, right? Like what inspires you to create that piece? What inspired you what was the thought process when you started on that acrylic piece of art for Kobe Bryant, Vanessa Bryant? So the art piece is called 9 Remembered, right? 9 Remembered. Remember him forever. Legends will never die. So that's what his art piece is called. I've looked at this and I can look at it many times again. But, firstly, the colors, and you can guess what the colors are, right? This is the piece that he made for Kobe Bryant, for Vanessa Bryant. See the K? Beautiful. See the gold, see the purple shining through? There it is, the number 9. The number 9, I see it. And now, I mean, I have the reflections from the lights, but when you have this in a dark room and you're shining light into this prism and you see the purple coming through and the gold coming through, stunning. And I'm sure she turned around and wrote you a personal message and said, thank you, that is a stunningly beautiful gift, what you created there in honor of my husband, Kobe. Very cool, dude. Abstract Echo says it's entitled 9 Remembered, 1/26/2020. It was a sad day. At literally 8 to 10 minutes after that impact, I was on the site because it was less than a half a mile from our place. We cycled down there. We're still watching the helicopter burn, still watching the flames and then putting out all the fire people right there. It was a horrible, crazy day. He says, I know what kind of human being Kobe was, so I went with my gut. That's it. That's the answer. And he knows what type of human Kobe is, and he just made it out of his gut feel. And I got to experience Kobe Bryant close up and personal in conversation with his business partners, and just a refreshing character. Refreshing. That's all I can say. Refreshing. Amazing character. Haloptic Wins says, Uber never mentioned the multiplier to me. I found out through your videos. I'm glad, dude. That is awesome. And have been making some good cha-ching. Hey, if one video helped, that makes my day, right? If one video pointed you into that direction and you said, wow, I don't even know where is this thing? How do I find it? Let's go out and do some research. I heard it from his video. Let me go and try it out. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Now, Haloptic Wins, I want to address his, and again, thank you for saying that. That's wonderful news that it's actually working for you. And I just hope that we put enough pressure on Uber and Lyft and that we can keep such app features that really work for people beyond November. This cannot just be like this temporary little thing that they put out there that they dangle in front of a driver to say, well, we're currently complying, and then boop, we take it away. Abstract Echo is a hockey guy. I know he's a hockey guy. But he says, I don't follow basketball. I love basketball. Yesterday's games were good. Feel like the Celtics are going to take the Raptors. Laura.
Yes, sir.
Do you know Jimmy? Abstract Echoes in the house.
Oh, hey! I love your artwork. Thank you so much.
Did you hear that?
Woo!
That's her. She loves your artwork. Thank you so much. Back to what I was just saying. What was I just saying before you walked in? I lost my chain of thought. Help me out. What was I just saying? Basketball. So Celtics, I think, will take the Raptors. Lakers, the second game, they were looking hot. They tied at 1-1. Celtics, I mean, the LA Clippers or the LA hairstylists, they're looking powerful. They're looking good. And then so yesterday we were just goofing around and I sent like a little riddle to my kids and I said, solve this riddle, right? And I said, the leprechauns versus the T-Rexes, the LA hairstylists versus McDonald's chicken nuggets, the reindeer versus caliente, and the fourth one was need some help here because I did this yesterday. The waves versus the UFOs. Solve that riddle. And they did. So the hairstylists versus the chicken nuggets, the leprechauns versus the T-Rexes, the waves versus the UFOs, and the reindeer versus caliente. There it is. Anyways, a little bit of fun. And Jimmy says, you're welcome, Laura. She went upstairs back to her desk. You know, she's working away. And we're at the 1 hour 15 mark. So Monday Social, good question. What happens if Proposition 22 is rejected? I think then the state would be in a powerful position to negotiate new terms, right? Because they have to put a new plan together. They can't just like, oh, well, we think that you're going to be like employees overnight. They're pushing Uber along, right? They then cut a deal because they'll have to cut a deal. Otherwise, they threaten to switch off the California market, which they will never do. Uber and Lyft will never switch off their money-making market. Uber and Lyft will never, ever, and literally bet any amount on this, they would never, ever abandon their number one market where they make the most money. The two top cities being San Francisco and LA. London and other cities don't even come close, right? But if you see the type of money that Uber makes, that Lyft makes in California, they will never, ever abandon California. They will work something out. San Diego Rideshare Pro says, who or what organization will make Uber accountable for all the bait and switch games? Well, at the end of the day, from what I'm seeing and where I'm reading between the lines is that law firms are really studying the specifics, right? Are really getting a lot of ammunition from drivers and realizing, oh, wow, here's another massive national lawsuit. Here's another statewide lawsuit. So when you say organizations, sadly, I don't see any organization step up, Thomas. Like there should be an organization stepping up and holding them responsible for this, right? For the bait and switch, for what I think is, for example, here, a massive violation, and that is if you just look at California and Business Professions Code, Section 17200, unfair competition, right? Which could be unfair competition of an unlawful business or practice, unfair business or act, practice, fraudulent business, act or practice, unfair, deceptive, untrue, or misleading advertising. I think on this one, there's a ton of evidence in the attorneys in the class action's favor if they use the information supplied by drivers such as myself, right? You just have to look at the practices that they are engaging in and say, okay, are they unfair? Are they deceptive? Are they untrue? Or are they misleading? And so I would replace, and it's a good question, I would just replace, sadly, it's not organizations not stepping up and holding them responsible here, but law firms will. And as long as the law firms go out there and do the work and do the heavy lifting and the punching and the jabs and the uppercuts and get a lot of drivers underneath their banner, they will keep on going after Uber and Lyft for deceptive or fraudulent business practices all day long. So, but sadly, when you say who or what organization, I haven't seen really any big organization, except for some people like Edward Escobar or specific YouTubers or people out there, journalists, holding them responsible. But it would be nice if millions of drivers were stacked under an organization and had some power and some clout and some say and some protections. So Ian Mash is in Nairobi, Kenya. And right now, my guess, it's about 8:30 p.m. there, right, in Nairobi. And they probably have one of the most, well, firstly, Kenya has a lot of great safari lodges, but they have an insane attraction called Kilimanjaro, the Kilimanjaro. A lot of people land in Nairobi, they get ready to do an outdoor adventure, maybe go out into the Serengeti or go up and climb Kilimanjaro. Beautiful country. Abshad Echo says Ian Mash, California is about 16% of Uber's market share. 16, oh, it's 937. Okay. So you are literally 10 hours ahead. Rick Nelson, do you have one of those riddles for the hockey playoffs? I can create one. You got it, right? It was a little fun that I had with the kids on the basketball. It was a good little laugh. It's Moose is in the house. He says, I would say that the law firms are teeing things up. That's nice, right? It's like a golfer. They're getting it ready, and you knock that ball out onto the green. Exactly. They're teeing it up. And we just have to participate and take the golf club and knock that little white ball down the fairway into the hole. Into the hole means victory for us. And sometimes it takes multiple shots to get that ball in the hole. But you're right. I like that analogy. I like that comparison. The law firms are teeing it up for us. We have to step forward, club that ball across the fairway. 2-3 shots later, we're in the hole with the flag and we get paid. Whoop, whoop. Mike Constantine is in the house. How much Uber and Lyft down due to the COVID virus? Well, I would say in the worst time of the COVID, which is really now, right? 70 to 80% down. So I would say they're 20 to 30% back. That's just my gut feel. I could be wrong. San Diego Rideshare Pro, Thomas Gibson says, but the whistleblower driver would most likely be deactivated for notifying the law firms, and the whole process is lengthy and the driver would be out of work. I hope that they wouldn't be retaliating against an individual like that. But what I think, Thomas, it would take someone on the inside, right? It would take a disgruntled employee in the headquarters of Uber and Lyft, or a disgruntled engineer to become a heroic whistleblower and say, look, these are the instructions they gave us in this meeting. Here's the memo. This is what they wanted us to do. This is basically how, the deceptive, the unfair competition is taking place. And yes, it would take one hero. So if you are that hero, if you are that employee at Uber and Lyft, you are protected by the whistleblower laws, which have very, very strong retaliation laws in place. Please step forward, come on our show, put it out there, go meet with Chicago Tribune, LA Times, Washington Post, New York Times, whoever you want to meet with, whichever journalist you want to share it with, but put it out there, right? Do share with the world what's happening behind those four walls. Dustin is in the house. What's up? What's up, everyone? Let's big hearty welcome for Dustin. How's it going over there? Here, Dustin, outside, yellow skies, ashes raining down on the car, a lot of fires going on. Winds are obviously driving it down from the north, so the air is not good. Like, you can't go outside jogging and fill your lungs up with that shitty air outside. So that's an update here from California. And it's something we struggle with every year around this time, all these fires. Now, one of the biggest fires was set off by what they call like a revealing party, right? When the parents reveal the sex of their child. In this case, they detonated some pyrotechnics out in the open in this big grass field, big blue explosion. Oh, wow, it's a boy. But the fires took off. So that revealing party has now cost many buildings, many acres, probably a couple of lives, and a lot of dollars spent by hardworking firemen. And amen to all those firemen. Thank you for all the hard work you're doing out there, keeping our houses safe. So a little bit of a shit show here in California as far as the fires go. Dustin says, hi, Lisa. Rachel Lisa says, hi, Dustin. Cool. A little bit of a virtual hello there. Dustin says, about to post this video. You should be entertained with Uber driver in 2019 versus 2020. Yeah. And if I can make a little video to push that, absolutely. I'm excited to watch that one. I'll look out for it. So Are you pushing it out today? Are you pushing out that video today? Everyone do yourself a favor. And knowing Dustin, I'm sure it's got a lot of comedy and a couple of funny little things built in. Great topic, I think, comparing 2019 to 2020. That should be fun. That should be fun. So yeah, waiting for that to drop, and I get you alerts, so I watch your videos, and then we can help circulate that 2019 versus 2020. And I'm sure you have some interesting, some really, really funny, interesting stuff for 2020. And I remember one of the videos you did in your Excel when you were in that suit, that hazmat suit, that I was crying of laughter. I mean, you put a lot of effort into that video when you were in that full-on hazmat suit. Remember that one? So he says, yes, I'm posting it in 10 to 20 minutes. Yes, it's a funny skit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get offline now, because he's going to be posting in 10 to 20 minutes, so we can redirect our energies to his video. Watch his video. He's going to drop it in about 10 to 20 minutes. Again, he's comparing 2019 to 2020, and knowing how funny he can be, how funny he is, he's going to have some very interesting little pointers there built in on 2020 that's going to make us laugh. So I'm excited to see that one. So I wish you all a great day, a happy Tuesday. Stay safe out there. Be safe. Stay healthy. Stay out of the ashes if you're in California. And again, to the individual, this is the video that I made here. This is the shit that I have to put up with, Dustin. Got this little kid here in Irvine. We'll figure out where he is and what address he is at. But again, I'm not going to do anything. I'll let people deal with that. But no one has to entice violence because of Proposition 22, right? And by the way, if you've seen this character, if there's any restaurant owner out there that has seen this guy walk in, if there's anyone that can get me his number plate, that'll be beautiful, because I can just hand that over to the authorities. He has a lot of little tattoos on his body, and he's got this massive mole here. There it is. See there? It's got this massive big black mole on his thing, and he's got a lot of tats up his neck. So this is the character. I want his real name, and just my people alert DoorDash and Uber that I don't stand for this. My kids should not come across sentences like this, threats like this, right? Because that's, he's a young guy. He doesn't even look old enough to drive. He looks like he's 20, 21. But, you know, sometimes when we're young, we do dumb shit, right? That we regret later. And I have a feeling he's going to regret what he put out there. Because to create rain, hail, thunderstorms is very easy. You don't have to go and physically fight back or come forward, apologize. But as far as Lyft has already shut him down, right? Lyft has shut him down. Let me just show you. So that's one of his channels, John Lee. If you go here, they've already shut him down because of enticing violence. And then he has another little channel here called Critical Truth. You can look him up. He has 98 subscribers. He does a lot of weird type of karaoke stuff in his bathroom. You've got to watch that. And then this one I found a little bit disturbing. He says, sex doll versus real girlfriend benefits. Sex doll versus real girlfriend benefits. Let this sink in. Sex doll versus real girlfriend. That's who I'm dealing with here. And I've dealt with these characters before. I know exactly how to handle them. Good luck to you, buddy, if your name is John Lee. And anyone that has any information, number plates, any whereabouts on this character, please come share. So Dustin is posting right now. I'm going to get off. I'm going to wish you an amazing, amazing day. Stay safe, stay healthy out there. And let's switch over to Dustin's channel right now. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.